Hello and welcome to my channel. This video is about one of the biggest downfalls of the X1. The Rover X1 is very close to a DJI Mini 4 Pro, but it lacks the ability to change filters, put a wide angle lens on it. You're stuck with what you got. They have a few options of not very good ND filters, and they probably have better options in the future. But if you don't want to wait, there's another option. That's this. You can retrofit the DJI Mini 4 Pro camera housing, or change the whole gimbal if you want to. But this is the easiest thing to do. So then that gives you the ability of changing the lenses. Here comes the lens cap off. We can put a DJI Mini 4 Pro lens option on there. This is a adjustable ND filter. Voila. Couple things to note and to let you know what you're getting into if you want to do this mod. Let me show you. So it's hard, but I have found the housing, the rear and front housing, separate from the whole gimbal assembly for a lot cheaper. I think you're right around 30 US tokens to do it that way. I opt to buy the whole assembly, which here's the original lens cap housing, and here's the rear housing of the original X1. It's mounted to what I purchased is a DJI Mini 4 Pro original gimbal replacement. So I basically robbed the parts from it. This is more like 1.5 Benjamins, but the weakest point of most drones is the gimbal cable. These cables go bad all the time. So I'm getting a cable, both motors that are in the gimbal and the shock and the camera parts, all for this price. So I have spare parts. If something goes down, I don't have to wait or search for a part. I have it. So what you do is you open that up the same way, which is this. You have 2 screws, Phillips screws, right here, one on each side. You take those screws out, remove the protective cover, and you have basically, this is the DJI lens camera. I left the Rover X1 camera in there instead of replacing it, and I'll explain why when we get to it. The ribbon cable just comes off the back here. You just get under there with a little pry tool. You need the tools. With the plastic tool, and you just pop it off. Okay, and then you use the spatula on the other side to push it back on. I'm not rebuilding it to do it again on camera because, as you know, with any drone, these are super fragile. And enough movement, wear and tear, now you got to replace the whole cable. It's the least fun thing to do on the whole drone if you want to rebuild one. And then what you have once you remove the camera and you remove the cap, you have 3 Phillips screws here. I'll only put one back in just for sample. You remove the screw. The 3 screws. They're very small. I would recommend using a magnetized little screwdriver. As you see, it's magnetized. And then you have to remove the rear housing. The challenge is, and you will need tweezers like this. The challenge is you have to fold it on itself. That's pretty much the main part of this video. Is you will fold it on itself to fit through the hole. You see that it's kind of folded and then tucked into the hole, and then you fish it out. You try not to be too abusive on it because you don't want to damage the ribbon cable. The X1 housing is almost not identical, but very similar to the DJI one in every which way. As far as I can tell, they engineered this one to be different, so that's not a 100% copy. The other part is slightly lighter. But after the mod, I'll show you, it does not exceed the 250 grams. But that was a question of mine because it is substantially heavier. Oh, and then when you go to put it back on, 2 things to note. One, on the motor, these screw holes are not just holes, they're posts. Those posts will seat here into these holes here. And then you know you have it right. There is a lip here, which when it seats, you'll feel it and you'll see it. You'll just go around until you seat it so that you got your screw holes lined up here to put the screws back in. And you will feel it because you'll have a stop when you try to turn it. It'll have a place where it stops. So let's put it back together with me. So see how we're folding it over on itself? Normally it would be straightened out like that. Instead, you fold it back on itself so that it can fit through that little hole. This is where you're going to need the tweezers. You don't want to damage these pins at all with your tweezers or your fingers or anything for that matter. But now you see that it's fished through and ready to attach the camera. Oh, seating it. So while you have it this way, think of it this way. The camera sits this way with the boom on top. Flip it up. The hole where the cable comes through will be to your right side. Now you have to line up those screw holes. And this spins freely until you get them lined up. They'll seat on it. Hope you can see that. Come on now. Never fails on camera is going to be 10 times harder than it is when it's not on camera. If you have to, you can go back here and check where those holes are. Okay, just about got it. What I'm doing is picking up and laying back down, not to turn the motor underneath. So you just spin it, you're going to turn the motor just with friction alone. Might take a few tries. I want to show you that stop. That's why I'm making you go through this with me. Should be right there. There it is. Just put a screw on it. I can do that off camera. You don't have to watch that. But then you will seat your camera, those pins, and it's real hard to show on camera. So what I'm going to do is I watched the video. I think the channel is called How To. I will link the video in the description. And if I can, I'll put it on the, I'll link it to the end of the video as well. It's a great video on how to service these cameras for the DJI Mini 4, especially if you get like an error. I think it's a error lens message. It shows you how to basically take this off, reset, reseat it again, and that's how I saw how to take this apart and that this would be possible. Of course, I was rolling dice on it, and it was expensive. I hope I get this proposition. And I also put a link to the part. I got this from Amazon. And these, I'll link these as well. Here's the wide angle lens. So you can see that this is possible. This is for DJI. If you notice, these lenses make the camera front heavy. So this is also a critical issue. When you, so anyway, so there you have the wide angle view. Great for if you're filming indoors or if you just want a wide angle. But this is what you do once you have it done. You do not leave these on. You will see how it sits level now without all that weight, or with this one. So what you want to do is you set it up, and you go through and you calibrate the, I think it's called IMU, the GPS, and the camera, gimbal. Calibrate them all and do it raw like this. Then once you're calibrated and ready to go, you can put the lens on, and when it's on, it'll pull itself up level. It'll keep going to that center point. Do not try to just pop these on and fly. the camera will feel like, what did you put on my head? And it will fly funny. Mine just quickly dove. Definitely calibrated after the fact. Now, so you know you're not adding weight if this is a concern of yours. It's not of mine, but it's a concern of yours. Sort this out. $149.6. Can tell you, I prefer to fly with the master screw props, the super silent props, because they have more surface area and more lift. So the motors run at a lower speed to do the same thing, keeps the motors cooler, and it's more efficient to fly. Also like the blue props, but the props are heavier, and it will take you over to 250 with this mod and the props. But with the standard S1 props, X1 props, okay, the S1 has the same props as well. These are DJI Mini 4 Pro, Mini 3 Pro props. They are heavier. These are the lightest props you can get for the DJI Minis or the SkyRover. Mainly because the other knockoffs and factory DJI props even have the little rubber tips here which add weight. Just another clue, helpful hint. If you have any trouble, have a sip of your favorite cocktail, take about 5 minutes, walk away, come back at it. It's a little frustrating. Things are that small to work with. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to respond as soon as possible. And if I don't know, I'll tell you that too. Good luck. Enjoy your SkyRover X1. Thank you.